Good morning, children. This is Sumati, a social studies teacher, with you. The continuation of topic, that is rain and rivers. Actually, this topic about the rain and rivers, and already you have studied about that floods, how it's affected, and that continuation, how we are getting the floods, cyclones. It is mentioned in this chapter. So now we are going to continue the topic, that is facing the challenges in cyclones and floods. Our state has long coastline. Actually, Gujarat is the longest coastline in India. Second is Andhra Pradesh. We have 972 kilometers length of coastline, long coastline. Okay. Because of that reason, we are actually facing the destructive cyclones. That means whatever the cyclone, if we get the cyclone, totally affects it, creates the problem. Means totally life or work, whatever it is, maybe totally it's a destructive. Mostly these cyclones occur at the time of June to December, in between the time. How we get the cyclone? Actually, when we get that strong winds, mostly sea coast areas, we face that strong winds actually. Those winds when occur, automatically those winds, here you see that this is the cyclonic eye. When the winds occur, this rain also continues, hits whatever the speed of the wind, as per the rain also we get it heavily. So the worst cyclone, such a way we are getting that hudud and these all, you know that. Like that, previously we got it, which we don't know. That is in 1977, in the month of November, we got the worst cyclone in Andhra Pradesh. It is totally worst in India. In Indian shores, it is the worst. So that cyclone, we got it at the time of 1977. Actually, totally it's collapsed. Many lives, many of them died, and totally they lost their work. Many problems they have faced that. And here, 6-meter high tide waves swept across villages in coastal Andhra Pradesh. Here, the height of the tide 6 meters height. That means, you know that meter means, no, 6 meters high tides, they got it. Totally coastal areas, whatever the villages of the Andhra are there, those are vanished maximum. And the death rate is 9,941 people at that time when they got that cyclone. At least 100 villages were washed away because of this cyclone. About 100 people who left their homes, actually when they are getting heavy rains, no, they come to know that it is the near to coast. So what they have done, they went to stay a safe place at actually for the shelter in one of the building. It is in Bapatla, and but what happened, the building was collapsed. They went for to save their lives, but the building was maybe old one, it's collapsed. Many of them died, and most of the lives were lost in Divisima. It is an island of the Krishna River, Divisima, and it is after the Prakasham barrage, round down of that actually. And that Divisima totally vanished at that time. Many of the people, they lost their lives because of this cyclone. And even actually when they have seen that the total cyclonic area, what happened from the helicopter, it is totally drowned with the water. That means you can understand that total how many villages were totally damaged. And actually what is the impact of that disaster? Mostly higher less, it's you can find that the poorest only suffers. Yes or no? Actually, that is common. Wherever it is, maybe the poorest are the suffering, because the poorest people stay near to coastal area. Because of that, mostly they were affected. When it's affected, totally they may lose their life. Suppose they have the fishermen have boats. they lose that boat. Even they have on the coast only uh, their huts. Those huts also totally may vanish. So such a way, totally their properties, whatever they have, maybe two-wheelers or maybe their boat or cash, or totally in household, whatever the items they have, because of the cyclonic hit, they lose that totally. If before the precaution is there, somewhat they may save. Suppose suddenly they got it, totally it's vanished. So maximum affected or impacted are the poorest people. Even they want after that cyclone completes, totally they suffer with for the food, even for drinking water also, because already it's a floods the cyclonic hit area. So automatically that water is not at all safe, whatever it is available. So the government has to provide. Here, mostly the rich people, those who are living in a higher elevated areas, they may get all those facilities because they can store the food whenever it is necessary. They can utilize it. They have the capacity of to purchase it. Whatever it is, maybe they can do that. But at the time of such a situation, the poor people are totally affected. And the poor mostly lose all those. Even they may lose the daily wage workers, they may lose the work, and many of their earning people, suppose they, in their family the father is the earning person, suppose that person has died, so they lost their earning person in their family. Even uh, again after the cyclone, to recover it may take totally that time, because they lost totally. Again to gain that also, it may take totally the time. And even not only at the time of cyclone the farmers lose the crops, even some of those who are living, poor people on the coastal areas, or maybe flood at the time of flood on the riverbank areas, those who are living, those totally may lose their life. How we can meet the challenges at the time of disaster? You see, uh, this can be done through long-term planning by government and close cooperation between the people and the government agencies. Some government agencies are there, those have to help to the people, and for that the people also should cooperate, and governments are also responsible for providing for that long-term provisions. Even what the government's duty, early warning systems by the government. It is possible to predict, means before only they come to know that this situation, it's maybe totally create a problem. Because of that reason, at the time of natural disasters, the government has to take some steps to announce in the radios or TVs that to vacate those areas, or what the precautions they have to take, what they have to do it at the time of such situation, they'll inform that. Even long-term security also should be provided by the government. Actually, always they are getting that problem. Always the cyclonic hits are they're facing. So, government has to provide for them strong buildings or strong roads, and safe pakka houses for them. And even they should not live in such an area. Some distance areas they should provide for them, which can be safe for them. And food, water and medical emergency teams also should be kept ready whenever there is a forecast of cyclone or the flood. Means the government has should be ready. And how can the people prepare for disaster? Actually, when the cyclones or the floods we get it, suppose seasonal phenomenon, during the cyclone, where they have to, or we have to listen the radio, TV, weather reports, and in case of cyclone or flood warning, ensure that everyone is alerted. Means okay, cyclone is there in the downtrodden areas, no, poor people will get, for us it's not affected. It's not like that. Even hundred time we also got it. That means we should be careful. This is usually done through loudspeakers or by going from door to door. Actually, now it's not necessary. In olden days, they used to follow that. Suppose if we don't have the power, that means power cut because of the heavy rains. At that time, what we have to do that? loudspeakers are going to door by door to knock them and inform them. It is a problem for us. That information even government has to take, not only government, voluntarily, each and every citizen is responsible to take care of that. And the nearest available place where refuge could be sought in case of a cyclone should be identified in advance. Mostly when they are vacating the place, suppose it's a problem, the government is announcing, uh, those who are living in the coastal areas, they should be take to in a safe place and should take the safe of that person. And where necessary, the walls of the house, roofing, doors, windows should be strengthened. Suppose the government is feeling that is not good at the time of rain or the cyclone, it is damaged, it may damage. At that time before itself, the government has to take care about that. The proper strong walls or the house or the roofs or the doors, whatever that roads may be constructed or may be made by the government. When you get a cyclone warning, store adequate drinking water and food grains in waterproof bags. Close the doors and windows and stay indoors. And look out for snakes and that may have come out of their holes. Do not enter floodwaters, they may be too deep. As a student group, you can play a very significant role in spreading awareness about the above precautions. If you need evacuate, suppose you want to move from that place, pack clothing, essential medicines, valuables, personal papers, or waterproof bags, and to be taken to the safe shelter. And you have to put furniture, clothing, appliances on the beds or tables, because when we will get the water may be penetrated into houses now, that should not become wet. So even electrical items also should keep it on a higher elevation in the house. Turn off the power. Do not get into water or of unknown depth and current because it's unsafe. During the floods, we have to use or drink boiled water. Keep your food covered. Don't eat heavy meals. Use rati, rice water, tender coconut water. Because at that time only we may get that many diseases, diarrhea, cholera, and some diseases we may get now. We have to take precaution. Do not let children remain on empty stomach. They should take some food. Should not be with empty stomach. Use bleaching powder and lime to disinfect the surroundings. Of course, we know at present the corona effect, mostly the government servants, they are coming and utilizing our surroundings should be neat and good. Bleaching powder or some other medicines, the precautions they are utilizing, you know that. Do not eat food that has got wet in the flood water because it may cause the disease. Okay, this way this is the topic for today. Now this is the time for go to the assignment. When two cyclones from in the Bay of Bengal, that is June to November, which areas are affected by cyclones, that is coastal areas. How to prepare the people during floods means what are the precautions we have to take. It is mentioned in that topic. I taught it. You can do the answers. That's all for today, children. Bye.